Let's press record. Okay, great. So just the last part then. This is the part about researching an artist. So, who did you pick?
I picked the band Eels.
Okay.
So I liked that they were kind of genre expanding. They had lots of different
Influence.
style.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause the two songs that I did are both quite different from each other. But particularly the album uh Beautiful Freak. It's one of my favorite albums. But when I was talking with Nancy about it, we we were talking about kind of ideas, and I liked that they kind of spoke a lot of their stuff, and it was kind of, you can't, some of them it feels like, are they joking, are they being serious, what's kind of going on in the song, and I really like that kind of style. So what I know about that album is it was a DreamWorks album as well, and most people my age know the songs from Shrek. Like they're in every Shrek soundtrack, like
Right.
Beloved Monster and I
Right.
Need Some Sleep and stuff. So
So that's they did all the Shrek music.
no, well, I can't believe I'm talking about the Shrek. The Shrek soundtrack is amazing, but in they've got um they use two of Eels songs. They
Right.
use My Beloved Monster
Yeah.
and um I Need Some Sleep, which I think they're using the next one. And I think as well, for those being kids movies, I think it was a really cool thing that they used those songs, because again, the storytelling in those songs I think is really good, and I like that in a song as well. I like a song that tells a story, and I feel like they do that. Like songs like, moving away from the Shrek soundtrack, but songs like Susan's House and stuff, they really tell a story, but in a way that you can interpret it how you like.
Mm. So yeah, so you're leaving things ambiguous, which is a creative device, so that it's a bit like the difference between reading a book and watching a movie with like tomato ketchup on it. In a horrible book, you imagine your own worst nightmares outside the door. In a film, you go, "Oh, I don't really. That's not really scary." It's that kind of analogy. You go,
Yeah,
well, you make your own mind up, and I think it's a. I mean, I know it's a creative device I've used in projects. Um, and yes, it seems to be because sometimes you're actually juxtaposing several ideas on top of each other, and it could be any one of them, and so it's
yeah.
deliberately left obscure like that. So,
And as well, making a soundscape sort of thing. So a lot of their songs I think sound like, I think they sound like they could be soundtracks, like you can imagine them being in films and stuff.
mm,
And particularly Nancy's, we were kind of like telling, with both of us putting our own lyrics into it, it was, we were both doing our it was like combining both of our thoughts. So it was, because the two that kind of were influencing us on that were Pixies, and then for her, more influencing her, and then for me, Eels more influencing me. Um, and I've lost my track, but yeah, just because Pixies as well used they've got some of their songs on soundtracks for, I think, Train Spotting. I don't know.
yeah, well, yeah, I don't. I mean, I'm not sure, but that sounds like it's quite feasible. Yeah, and you talk about Shrek being a kids' film. It's like, well,
Yeah, it's
it
for
works on a lot of
anyone
levels.
really. Yeah.
And
Well,
adults
you
get
can
different
enjoy it
things
as a
out of it.
kid and as an adult,
That's
yeah.
right, and you get different layers out of it as an adult. And some films you get different layers out of when you watch them again as different ages in your life as well. It's always kind of profound. You don't know whether it's your experience that's giving you that or whether it was built into the film as a. It's like, oh my God, that's like, did they intend that to look different from this age as well? And knowing that, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you like that narrative thing, you might, in an indie way, you might like to check out an artist album it's just been released. We spent 2-3 years producing it. It's called LPMC. Just LPMC. His name's Lee McMahon, right? And he's head fitness coach at Sheffield United. But he's been in bands before, and this is a solo project that I just was
So what's
producing. L
LP?
LPMC. If you look on Instagram or whatever, you'll find TikTok. You'll find him. But he's. I used to call him. I mean, people call him Macca because his name's McMahon. But and I thought about it and I looked it up, and Macca is a Scottish word for a poet or a bard, and it's like that's what he does. He tells these profound stories, and some of them are challenging, and some of them are just. There's one called Jenny, which is about it's about a nurse, but it's about all nurses in a sense, and it's about much more than that. It's just yeah, you might like it, you might not. Anyway, there's a little
I've
tip.
just found them on Instagram. Is it
Right,
LMP
LPM, L,
LPMC
yeah,
Music?
yeah,
Yeah, I've just followed them. I'll have a look at that.
great. He's
Oh,
from Rotherham actually, but anyway, um, let me just go through these questions. So Eels have been going quite a long time, haven't they? That's
yeah. 1990. Well, before that, but 1996 was the particular album that I really like. Beautiful Freak was 1996.
yeah, that's a little while ago.
Yeah,
Uh,
well, it was. That's 28 years ago.
yeah. Um, so how did you get into Eels then? Because that's going back a long time.
Well, I was uh my again my parents don't know what it says about their parenting, but definitely the songs. I remember listening to them in the car as a kid, and uh, again it would I was just born around the time, so it was. I don't know if they were in the charts. I should probably look that up, but I think a few of them were. So those songs were kind of playing around the time I was a baby.
Yeah, literally from in the womb, perhaps. I mean, when people talk
Yeah,
about that, don't they? Being absorbed,
yeah.
listening. So,
Um,
all right.
so
So,
then, so then, because I was so little, and then Shrek comes back into it again. But then, so when Shrek came out, um, we went. That was like one of the first things I saw at the cinema, I think,
yeah,
and I knew the song, I recognized it, and songs like they had the song Hallelujah in there as well in the soundtrack,
yeah,
and so as a kid I was like, these songs are from Shrek, not relating them to other albums and other things.
yeah,
And then when I got older, I was like, oh, it's a song from Shrek, and I'm like, no, this song is in Shrek, but there's a whole album of these brilliant songs
yeah.
from different artists, and so
So, yeah, actual lifelong absorption of being inspired and following an artist. That's pretty profound. So, I'm just looking at my own questions here. How does this artist practice or work inspire you as well? That we've said a lot about the multiple genres. As one of the things that inspires you in that for sure, isn't it? Not being pigeonholed and telling a story. Um, so that's we've covered that.
mhm.
Um, so do you know anything about their current kind of what they do right now at this point in time?
At this point in time, well, ah, I should have looked it up.
Well, no, not
Um,
necessarily. I'm not trying to catch you out. I'm just
no,
an
no, it's
interesting
okay.
point.
I mostly know
What do you know about their
the
personal lives, if anything, rather than their artistic kind of existence, the screen that they're portrayed through?
well, I know that the a lot of them are written by one person
Right.
in 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 the group. Because Eels, I think, is a changing sort of, they quite often or sometimes change who's actually in the band. I'm not even sure if they're still. I think they're still going. Are they still going?
Oh, there you go. Well, there's some thoughts. Um, what about how you imagine so whoever I mean, I don't know the lineup either. I mean, I'm familiar with some of the works. That they're a big act. What do you imagine that so the main person's life? What do you imagine that's like on a day-to-day basis?
Well, I know they're from LA.
Yeah,
So when I was younger, imagining something completely different, because your ideas of places are very different. So I just imagined them, being surfers or something. I don't know, like being American. But I think they've been through stuff, because of the themes of their music are a lot of quite dark stuff, even if the songs are fun and kind of a juxtaposition, I guess. But that a lot of songs are about dying and kind of decay and love and falling out of it, and not uh like unrequited, and it is quite a grungy, I guess. I think the sound is very bleak. I think it is mm, I'm so bad at trying to explain it.
yeah. No, that's fine. You're doing a very good job. What you're saying is life is what they're experiencing. So I mean this thought I had about this, about finding out the personal day to life. I think it's just about reflecting it back at you and going, actually, for those friends around them, most artists, even the very highest, most popular, whatever, are pretty mundane. I mean, some of them are not. Some of them are off the charts. I mean, just in terms of like, wow, that's a life that very few people lead. But there's often a real mundanity and a lot of privacy about putting a barrier up because you're expressing that pain, but you can't let it back at you in a sense.
Yeah. Well, I feel as well, because obviously you don't know them, so you can always, a lot of music, it's more like reflective. So you're hearing that, but you're what you're hearing their songs, but it's reflecting of whatever your understanding of what's going on in your life is. Because uh, they uh, they sing about like mental illness and suicide and death, and things kind of falling apart. But and sometimes they do that in quite what comes across as a comical way, and when I listen to that, I think, well, that's coping. And I uh, the idea that all of this may be pain or anger or just complete um angst is expressed in their music, which is again a release. So I feel like it's good that it's out there, because that's what they're doing. Because I feel like their songs, some of them are really, you get it, you listen to it and you're like, oh my god, like that makes complete sense. And you could be in a totally different situation to they are, because everyone's going through different stuff. But definitely uh written about um they've written a lot about death and mental illness and things, um
Yeah.
but in a way that I don't think it's depressing as such, because like the songs could be listened to and think that's really depressing, but I think it's more of a release. Like it sounds like almost like therapy or something.
Yeah, well, artists uh, are, I don't know if the word is often, but self-therapizing or whatever we're going to call it is something that is common amongst uh, artistic output, full stop. And also the juxtaposition. So, I mean, you can go, well, I can't. Sometimes it's a device. So you put dark lyrics over a really, like a major modal tune. Um, or sometimes you do major modal tune over minor chords, which is whatever, but essentially it's once
Yeah,
removing,
like a deceptively
yeah, it's
happy tune.
once removing you from the pain itself. You could say that, or you could say, well, actually, no one's going to want to listen to this. It's too maudlin. So what do we do? How do we get this? I want to get this idea across. So hey, let's do that, and then that. So the happy tune lets you into the
Oh,
dark
here we
lyric.
go. Sorry, just put so E is their main person, and that's like his, I guess, stage name because
Mm,
I don't know what his real name is. Let's have a look. It is E. Mark Oliver Everett, and Eels have had a number of lineup changes supporting E. So I think he's the main songwriter for them.
yeah,
Um, in recent years, the live band has often differed from musicians on the albums. So yeah, it's E is the kind of main songwriter, I suppose.
yeah.
Like a lot of those,
The hub of it all. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
So in things like, because he had a solo record as well, I know that, um, that wasn't as successful, but it was successful, but it wasn't. Whereas I think people consider Beautiful Freak the kind of debut one in 1996,
mm,
because it was the first group signing to DreamWorks record label at the time.
mm. DreamWorks is Los Angeles based, isn't it?
Yeah,
Um, yeah. Um,
it's like I'm so sorry that everything I knew about them has gone like, whew, like now we're
no.
talking about them. I feel
Well,
like I
look,
know much, and then now I don't know.
the brief of this was to research, and you've done research. You've done research all your life on it. You've done some, and now you're doing some more online. So that's fine. I think that the purpose of the whole Arts Award is to reflect it back at you.
Well,
And I
I've
think
got some like the thing I've got for the little video I made. I've got like the little paragraph for that, and then I've got like a couple of pages of just kind of research and pictures and stuff
great.
that I did on Eels. I can email that to you.
Yeah, ping him over.
So
Ping him over. And we might not need him, but ping him over.
yeah,
That's
with
fine.
how my brain goes sometimes, I kind of like get lost on something, and then I kind of don't know what I'm saying. So I tend to, so I do have like all of this information somewhere. So I tend to write it down. Like I've got a notebook, and I did write some little facts down about them.
Great. Well, snap that and send it over.
Yeah, I'll
I think
send you a picture of that.
I mean what you've done is fine, more than we need, and profoundly. I think for me it's just like let's just reflect that all back at you and go, well, just invert that and go, that song that you did, live through a screen. You're doing the same, and who's to say that what you're doing wouldn't be massively appreciated by others, and not knowing your situation, it doesn't matter. Do you know what I mean? It's like whether they know or not. So the whole thing for me is about going, hey, you're doing this, that the tracks you've done and the tracks that have come out of this project, absolutely great. And that creative process is there you are, you doing it, and in many ways I suspect, having been signed as an artist as well, that's kind of technical stuff. um it can feel pretty mundane from the inside, and going, I don't know if anyone's ever going to like this. That creative process is really odd in the sense of like,
Mm.
from the inside out is very different from the outside in, and it's
It's sorry again, I'm going kind of out of my own head, but it's also like I feel like it's an aspect of you Whereas, because sometimes I look at like stories about, say, like artists or something, and I'm like, it's just sad. Like everything in their life is sad. But then I'm aware, like, I think from an outside perspective, something can look sad, but it's just kind of what it is, and you go with it. Like, like, my me and Nancy had a great time making that song. The Could You Think of Me one, and we both have disabilities, so it was interesting because um I guess it was almost, what's the word, like cathartic or
Mm,
something, is that the word, to do it, because we it wasn't like, it's not a happy song, but we had a really good time making it, and it felt good to make it.
yeah, yeah.
And I think that comes across on a lot of stuff as well. So
Yeah, yeah, and that's
yeah.
absolutely brilliant, and that's why we did it all. And remember as well, when you're looking at people, you know, the artists with tragic life stories, it's like, well, someone's interpreting the tragic bits. They don't know what it was like to be the artist. They might have had a whale of a time and learned, you know, incredible, profound stuff
Yeah, because
along the
it
way.
is just, it is just like a little bit of it as well, because you don't get the full story.
Public persona. It's like it's you know you don't know. I mean you know you just don't know. That's the point of this. So that's fine, Ruby. That's everything's
Mhm.
covered well and truly. So ping me those little bits across,
Okay.
and I know Will's finishing off the videos and bits and pieces, but we'll get this stuff onto Kate, who's going to review it for the Arts Award thing,
Okay.
and you know that'll be a few weeks before it gets moderated. So don't expect anything in a rush, but
No, no, just
keep in touch.
if you
Keep in touch.
keep me updated, and
Yeah, yeah,
I'm always happy to chat,
brilliant,
call, text. Like, um,
brilliant.
sometimes I think I come across on text like I never know what's like what to put, so I just put like a smiley face, and then I was talking to my mum, and she was like, "That can come across like really passive aggressive." It's never passive aggressive. I'm sending a smiley face. I'm like, cool.
It's all in the interpretations of it. It's like
Yeah, I know.
you can't please everyone. You can say stuff and you can say stuff in person to them and they can take it the wrong way. So don't worry about it. I think is that if you worry about the intention of it, and that's all you need to worry about. So that's great. And I'm going to talk to Will about the idea of a group or a focal point for people collaborating remotely because they
Because I
have
know
to
as
because
well,
they
though,
want
some
to.
people really didn't enjoy that side of it.
No, I know,
It
but
really
but
depends on the person.
but for those that did, I mean, that project could act as a central point to try to chivvy things along a bit or find out some more stuff. So let me know if you find anything. That'll be really
Yeah,
interesting.
I'll have a look around.
Great. Thanks, Ruby. That's great.
Thank you.
And great working on this with you. And I'll see you soon.
See you soon.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.